How much did I spend in 5 months of traveling? I'm gonna tell you. I literally get asked this question all the time, and I thought it was finally time to answer it. I'm gonna be splitting the cost down to flights, insurance, food, accommodation, all that stuff, and exactly how much I spent in each individual country. At the end of the video, I will be giving you an exact figure of how much I spent in 5 months of traveling. Emilia and I also have the advantage of traveling in a couple, and so you save things on like scooter rentals where you only need to rent one, on things like taxis, and we actually split a double room, and it's often cheaper than getting like 2 separate beds in a hostel. A few weeks ago I released like a travel video of our 5 months backpack in Southeast Asia, so if you don't really know me, then go watch that, and it kind of gives you an overview of everything we did. Let's get down to the numbers and the prices of everything, and just so you're aware, this is the cost of just me, not like the cost of a couple. So our first flight from London to Phuket cost us £400, and that was with Qatar Airways, and honestly they were amazing. I really recommend using them, really good airline. I apologise if I'm looking at the screen, but I've got my laptop here with all the figures on. Emilia's just called me. I'm just talking about how much we spent travelling. Anyway, so in Thailand we spent 28% on food, 20% on transport, 31% on accommodation, and then other, so all the other stuff to make up the rest of the percent. And in total, in 2 months in Thailand, we spent £1,260, and that's each. Honestly, Thailand is a really good country, and I think we got some really good deals on hotels and places we stayed because we came really early just after COVID in February 2022. So things and hotels were a lot cheaper. We flew out of Bangkok and flew to Manila and then to the island of Palawan, and that cost £210 for that flight. In the Philippines, we spent 51% on food, 14% on transport, and only 17% on accommodation. And I'll be honest, in the Philippines, we were so lucky. We got given so many great opportunities. We stayed 6 nights for free in a hostel. We stayed a couple of free nights on an island. We had another free night stay on a yacht. We got really blessed with the opportunities. Also not included in that percentage was £275 on a 3-night, 4-day tour in Balabac. You saw the Balabac video, go watch it. It's amazing and one of my favorite places on planet Earth. But in the total in the Philippines, we spent £810 each, and that was for 1 month of traveling there. We then flew from the Philippines to Singapore, and that only cost us £95 for that flight, which was a really good deal. Obviously, Singapore is a lot more expensive city. You're gonna spend more on accommodation, especially food can be cheaper, and you can do this by eating in like hawker centres. It's really good street food. Singapore is not as expensive as Western places, but accommodation is expensive. But again, we were super lucky to be gifted 6 nights for free in this hostel, and that saved us so much cost because Singapore is usually a very expensive city. So in 7 days in Singapore, we only spent £131, which was amazing. Activities in Singapore are quite expensive. So if you want to go to like the theme parks or like the Gardens by the Bay, these things do cost more and will bump up the cost of traveling a lot. So when we were in Singapore, we were looking for flights to Jakarta, but we couldn't find any good deals at all. And so finally we decided to get the bus from Singapore to Kuala Lumpur, but we actually ended up staying 5 days in Kuala Lumpur, and we spent, 4 days in Kuala Lumpur, and we spent £114 each. Our flight from Kuala Lumpur to Jakarta cost £110, which is way more than I spent like 4 years ago doing the exact same route. Hopefully with more travel opening up, they will get cheaper again. We then spent about a week in Java and then flew to Bali, and that flight to Bali cost us £53 each. So again, for Indonesia, I'm just going to split up the costs. We spent 29% of our budget on food, 16% on transport, and 35% on accommodation. We had 2 free nights stay in an accommodation, which was really nice. And obviously when we're in the World Packers experience, we had 3 nights staying there as well, which really saved on costs. So if you're looking to travel more and maybe stay in one place for a longer time, maybe do a World Packer experience. You can actually get a discount with my code down below. I was just editing this video and I realized I never told you how much I spent in Indonesia. I spent £1,302 and I was there for 2 months. So that was it. That was our 5 months of traveling around Southeast Asia, and we took a flight from Bali, connecting in Singapore back to London, and that only cost £330 each, which was an insane deal for the time. But that is because we spent 17 hours on a layover in Singapore airport, which honestly, if you're gonna do it anywhere, Singapore airport is the place to do it because it is amazing. But that's one of the ways you can save money, is by doing annoyingly long layovers, flying at awkward times like 5 a.m. or like at midnight. Doing these things will help you to get cheaper flights. So with accommodation, we use Booking.com, Agoda and Airbnb, and we compare the prices because the same hotels or hostels, whatever, can be cheaper in some places than others. So always do a comparison, look for the cheapest. With regards to food, we ate a lot of street food, a lot of the local food, as that is so much cheaper than trying to eat like Western food, like burgers and stuff like that, because it's not native to that country. With regards to transport, taking the local transport is the best, and being flexible with when you travel, especially for flights. Taking like long buses, long train journeys is always going to be cheaper than flying. I have camera insurance just so that if it breaks, this camera, I can get a new one, and that costs £20 a month. And also travel insurance, which is so important. I use Safety Wing, and it costs £39 for every 4 weeks. If you want to use Safety Wing, I do recommend it, then I'll leave a link down below. Okay guys, so the final figure, here we go, drum roll. So in 5 months of traveling, I spent £6,049, and that's for one person with all the costs, so flights, insurance, everything. Also, I just want to say, this is how much I spent. We didn't really drink that much. We were traveling on a budget, but you can do it even cheaper than this. When I traveled before for 6.5 months, I spent £5,700. Also, just to mention, you can spend way more than this, especially if you're drinking and stuff like that. So if you are budgeting for Southeast Asia, a very safe and good amount to go with is about £1,000 a month, not including flights. I hope that was useful. If you've got any questions about budget traveling, anything at all, leave them down in the description and I'll get back to you. I'll talk to you about whatever, just leave it in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. See you later. Bye.